right, QQQ and MU ready here. QQQ calls. I'm in these guys. They're moving really fast. All right, Phil, taking a trim. Look at how fast this is ripped up. Look how fast. This is about 50 points profit. Take your trim now. I don't care that it was 1 second. Take your trim now. Look where we are rejecting that order block. So that's why I'm mentioning do it again. You got another shot here. Take that trim if you didn't get to take the trim. No one should have an excuse right now if you entered in this trade. No one should have an excuse. You should have been able to sell up here. The first one, I get it. It might have been too fast. I might have scared you the whole nine, but you should have trimmed once. I'm waiting because this has a lot of room. I'm waiting to trim again. I want to see 70 points before I trim again here. All right, it's just going straight through this. That's good. That's good. This is good that it's going straight through. If you took MU as well, I would be trimming heavy on MU, guys. I would be trimming heavy on MU if you took that. That was the only thing I was, that's the only other thing I was going to be ready for. But by the time I looked at the contracts, they were gone. So I wasn't trying to get into that. All right. We're sitting here now at $2.56 a contract here, 260 a contract. Approaching a 4-hour level, trimming again right now, 4-hour level, taking my third trim at this 4-hour level, guys. This is basically 100 points profit. $2.89, 85 cents, $2.85 a contract. All right. For everyone that's new, you're welcome. For everyone that's new, you're welcome. I'm sure you're not used to trading like this, but you're welcome. You're done in 2 minutes. All right. I would like some emojis, please, for my effort. If you enjoyed that trade right there, if you're in the green, if you enjoyed this, if you caught this trade, give me some emojis. There we go, guys. Good job. So as you can see, this is 2 minutes in a market open. Game plan was a break of this key level to the upside if we hold this 4-hour level. I let the students know I was getting calls ready at the open. Same thing for MU. And as we can see, beautiful trade to the upside, basically 100 points in profit. Cringe moment's over. All right, let's refocus in here. Tesla is attempting this level. The main thing I'm concerned about is Tesla is it had an aggressive break. You can see here, 439.50. Had an aggressive break, came back down, but it ended up almost holding this 438 level, and now it's ripping to the upside. So I would be very cautious with Tesla. Tesla might range the entire day. All right. For anyone that's dead set on Tesla for some reason, watch MU. Obviously, this came back to your entry. Anyone who took MU, if you did, because I know that's a newer stock for us, let me know if what your profit was if you ended up taking that. QQQ, I'm majority out of QQQ at this point. We've hit 100 points profit. What, 102, 101, basically 101 points profit here. I want to see this move keep going. Stop loss is at entry. I moved my stop loss to entry for reference. If you want to put this in your journal, I moved my stop loss to entry after the second trim. I don't know if you guys heard me, but after the first trim, when I said I'm waiting a little longer because this has room. Hopefully a lot of you picked up on that. I said this has room, so I'm waiting to trim again because the fact that we broke through this so aggressively tells us this might keep going. That was why I'm telling myself, all right, I'm just going to shoot for the next 4-hour level. Here's that next 4-hour level. That's why we're already majority out of this position. Okay. I will upload this OBS as well. So if you didn't get to watch the order book, I recorded the whole thing on my laptop. I'll upload that right after this. I'm also going to do today on YouTube. I need to upload 3 things. I don't know if I'll be able to upload them all today, but I need to upload Friday's trade. I need to upload today's trade, and I need to upload what I'm going to do for you guys. Hopefully all of you will enjoy this. Good candle close right here, by the way, too. Candle close above the 4-hour level. We should just see a continuation. We got this strong candle close above the 4-hour level. I would not be surprised if we see a continuation. 2 things can happen here, guys. This is what I'm targeting next, 154. We can see a full retracement, I would say back into 25,788 or back into one of these 2 order blocks. Okay, I can see a full retracement into those levels, but I can also realistically see this thing just continuing to rip up here, but I want to see 150 points for that next trim on NQQQQ. Tesla's moving well here from both trades would have paid you something. Obviously, these puts would have been tight, but both would have paid you something. Just for reference on Tesla, I would be cautious of pre-market high and 455. So if you want to trim the majority here, if you took this breakout for calls, I don't care if you're like, James, this is only 12%. I don't care. You have to trade based off these levels. You have to. So if you want to sell some of it here and then tell yourself, all right, I'm going to move up to 455.60 for the next trim, just treat it based off of that. There we go. There we go. Come on, NQ, move with us here. Give us a nice play. Yes, missing file. That's not the camera angle I want. Is that on me? It's good enough. Forgot to do OBS on my computer. All right. All right. So right now we're sitting at about 130 points profit. Yeah, right around 130 points profit here on QQQ. Keep that in mind. We do have stop loss at entry right now. We're looking either for a continuation up to 155 points profit. Basically, actually, I'm trying to target this a little sooner. 25,891. That's that next 4-hour level. 4-hour level right there. 891. So that might be where we're rejecting right now. Oh, so I didn't have the chat room up. I didn't have it up. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Call outs. Uh, Milo Trader. I'm not sure. How is that impossible to fall out? That doesn't make any sense, my friend. I got you ready in the pre-market for that trade. I told you I had the contracts ready before we took it, and then I gave you the entry right when I got in. But don't say it's impossible. That's just insulting. Don't limit yourself. Do not limit yourself and your potential. I see you just joined a week ago, so you should have seen my trades last week. These are very similar to the trades last week. I'm confused on why you wouldn't be ready for that. Well, mainly that's what I was talking about earlier. I just want to see a hold of this 850 level, this 4-hour level. But realistically, we should see this continue. That's why I was saying worst case scenario, if you want to look for a pullback entry, you can watch one of these two order blocks on QQQ. That's what you can watch for. But that's why I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if this just had a 5-minute candle close and just continued to go. You know what I mean? No, I never said we were going to go short at 760. That's never what I said. I need you guys to listen in the pre-market. Please do not twist my words because you're going to confuse other people. At 25,760, my game plan was only to go long at 25,760. That was it. That was my only game plan. So at 25,760, which is on the watch list, that was my only game plan, was to take a break out there to go long. All right. Now, if you didn't like that, let's say, or you didn't even see the watch list, or you didn't show up in the pre-market, and you're like, I'm just going to follow James off the open. All you would have heard me said was QQQ calls. Like I'm in NQ longs, QQQ calls right at 760. And then it rips to the upside. Okay. Now, obviously, if the trade moves too fast and you show up late, you didn't listen to the pre-market, you weren't confident in it, let's say, you waited like 5 seconds to enter. Yes, that can obviously be a very different trade. But that's a double-edged sword because you're waiting on my call out. But if you show up in the pre-market, if you're here listening to my technical analysis and my thesis, because every single pre-market, I will give a thesis of what I think is going to happen. Okay. So I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position because every single morning I'm like, guys, this is what I think is going to happen. I will always have a game plan for both directions because then otherwise I'm not going to be able to trade efficiently. It got so close. I wasn't able to trim up there, but I'm just going to trim right now. $3.09 a contract, $3.02 a contract. Nice continuation. SPY just doing a nice break and retest here. I can easily see SPY continuing this move to the upside, guys. I'm sorry, Tesla. Because obviously, if you took this breakout for calls here, right? This clearly would have come back to the entry if you place your stop at entry. I don't know how those contract moves. I'll have to look at them. But right now it's setting up a nice, really nice hold of this 442 30 level, right? You guys see that? Wicks to the downside, showing us price doesn't want to be down there, just like this wick. Price doesn't want to be down there. Now you can see it's trying to make a nice move to the upside. I would not be surprised if this actually was able to hit 455.58. Um, if you're going to rock your original stop loss in this, I wouldn't have more than 10%. These single tickers on Mondays, 10% stop loss, guys, because they are 4-day expiration contracts. So they move slower. There's no reason to have a 15% stop. That's more for the zero DTE trade. All right. What did I use to see volume and open? This was order book level 2 mainly. Um, I did want to put volume footprint here though in a 1 minute and talk you guys through this. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna close out of this really fast, okay? This thing right here. So it's gonna go in a 1 minute, and I'm gonna put this on volume. Or no, I can't do NQ. It's useless. So for those of you that trade volume footprint, because some of you like this more, what's painstakingly obvious here? Please, someone tell me. I'm gonna make this as big as possible. What is painstakingly obvious right here? Yeah, yeah. A lot of volume right there, right? Where's that key level we're wanting to enter? You know what I mean? Now, again, this isn't, you can't just use volume footprint. I have seen the opposite before, and the trade still works. So this is my disclaimer that I want you to remember for the rest of your life. Volume footprint, order book level 2, wherever you have everything set up, no matter what technical analysis tool you use, they are never right 100% of the time. You guys, please remember that. Just so that way, when you do something like this, let's say you saw the same thing, but it rejected, that way you don't get super upset and go on tilt. Okay. Obviously you showed up to trade. That means you're willing to place your money at risk in order to make more money and get your time back, right? That's the whole premise of this. But when you're looking at this is something that was painstakingly obvious this morning. And that's why I'm not trying to be rude, but that's why I was saying this morning should have been a very easy trade for a lot of you. Because if you were looking for something like that, combined with having my thesis for going, hey, at 25,760 slash 622.07, whatever, we're trying, or 46, we're trying to go long. I want to see this nice move to the upside. Oh my gosh. Sorry, we got to trim. We got to trim. 392 a contract. I almost missed that trim. 392 a contract. Here it is, 169 points profit. 169 points profit. If you took the reentry right there at 25,850 level and you got 50 points and then you got stopped out at entry, hey, it's okay. It's okay. All right, that's fine. Please, please, please don't go on massive tilt. And there's Tesla, by the way. Guys, Tesla, pay attention to this. I know it's absolutely ripped past that first profit target I was talking about, but as you can see, this played out very well, right? Break and retest, beautiful move here to the upside. Tesla's absolutely nuking as well. So hopefully my guidance was able to help a little bit there. On Tesla, you're almost at 100% profit here on Tesla, guys, because your fill would have been roughly around $4.80 a contract. So just keep that in mind for Tesla. But you basically got 85% profit here on Tesla at this moment. 85 to 90%, but I'm just gonna put 85. At this point, I would place your stop loss at entry on Tesla. You don't want it coming back anymore. So now I would have your stop at entry on Tesla. But I want to keep going over this. Okay, we've got our profit target. We hit this 170 points profit right here on NQ. Now what I need to see is if it can hold this level still. I want to see if we can hold this 4-hour level. See, we rejected very harshly at the 4-hour level, which I discussed this prior, right? I said we're more than likely going to reject here a little bit, and we did. We just came back to the previous 4-hour level, and now we're bouncing and moving to the upside. So what would I traditionally like to do at this point? I want to go for the next 4-hour level, which lines up with 945. That would be 197 points profit. My OBS entry must be a little bit off. 54. Let's see. 45 is the level, though. I'm trying to add these as we go, so you guys have my 4-hour levels also. All right. So, but hopefully that was painstakingly obvious for the entry for some of you guys. If order book level 2 is way too hard for you to read, you don't really know what you're looking at, etc. That's just something you can keep on watch. Okay. Uh, QQQ, obviously we're over 100% profit here on QQQ as well. Really just trying to see a nice continuation here to the upside. I'm not really basing this off of percentages. I'm basing this more so off of the levels on my chart and the price action, how it respects it. All right. But as of now, this is 145% profit on QQQ. So NQ is doing better. Notice right now the divergence on NQ versus SPY. Oh, it's starting to follow us a little bit. I was going to say we're rejecting really hard off of 923, and SPY is not. SPY is not. Okay, but let me one more time. I want to show you also what would have made you stay in this trade. I might have to delete this green box. All right. So on this green, when you're sitting here, right, we've got that first trim, right? We've come up to this order block. We've got that first trim. In your head, what, like, James, why would I want to continue holding this trade? We're hitting this order block, strong pressure, buying pressure off the open. What is the possibility that this can reject? Why would I not want to scale the majority out of my trade right here, or just take a full exit right here? Well, one of the things that I loved that I saw here was as we broke above this level, so this is what I'm looking for to stay in a trade. This is very important. Please, please pay attention to this, okay? This is how you stay in your trades. Most of you guys, a lot of you guys have problems entering trades, but I would say the majority of traders have problems staying in a winning trade. This is how I would stay in a winning trade. When I'm watching volume, because I'm not looking for just astronomical buying pressure all the time. That's, again, unrealistic. What I want to see right here in a moment like this is tell myself, hey, am I seeing, now that we're at a key level, a quote unquote order block, which is a possible rejection area, am I seeing a lot of sellers step in? Are there passive sellers stepping in that weren't there before? You would know if they weren't existing before because you would basically be seeing no selling pressure, hit a key level, and then boom, you see a big quick drop and you would see it populate here. You would see a lot of orders. I don't know, I'm pointing at my computer. You'd see a lot of orders coming up on the sell side or on the bid on order book level 2. You would see a lot of orders coming up. So the fact that I did not see that, I did not see an influx of sellers come into the market here. That's telling me, hey, this is for today. This is a normal level. There's not too much volume going on in this area, right? That's what we can see right now. There's not too much volume happening here. So that's telling me we're good. We should see a continuation because the buying pressure is clearly present. And that's what's telling me to hold this trade. Now, obviously, I'm sacrificing some points by getting this confirmation. But if I'm sitting here looking at this, and let's say my level is 623.47, and let's say right at this level, let's say I saw 70,000 right here on the bid. I'm sorry, on the sell side. 70,000 hit the sell side. And then I see an immediate reaction going from 623.48 down to 623.20. Oh, yeah. I'm scaling the majority out of the position there. If I'm looking for a scalp, I'm fully exiting there. Why? Because that trigger, that was more than likely passive sellers just sitting there waiting. And they got triggered because a limit got hit, a limit fill. They had a limit order set, or they were just waiting for some type of algo to come into play. And then boom, now you'll see many times either that full reversal or that massive dump that goes back just enough to stop you out, right? Just enough to stop you out. Because again, I've said this to you guys many times. What would I rather do? Me personally, I would rather take the majority profit up here if I see that reaction. I would rather take the majority profit up here, leave that stop loss at entry. Let's say it stops me out. Now I'm looking to see if it can hold this key level again. That's what I'm looking to see. all right, or leave a really, really tight stop. But mainly I'm banking on saying, all right, there's clearly a key level up here. Now I need to watch this pullback to the downside and see if we can hold this level. But I'd rather take my profits up here and not be have my risk open to just seeing if the 70,000 actually falls through, because it could easily fall through. It could easily absorb all of this. And you have to think the entire market isn't based off of passive buyers and sellers. You have active people like us that react based off of people like this. So if I see that reaction, that's exactly why I got into calls. So you can bet there's someone on the other side waiting to see the opposite, and they're going to get into shorts, right? And I want to be ready to just go, all right, nope, I'm not going to be your profit. I'm going to sell out here. I'm done. Let me just wait to see if there's a pullback down here. If there's a pullback and we see a nice hold of the level, boom, I'll just get in again. So, but that's how you can read price well. That's also how you can look to take reversals. And that's also how you can look to stay in a winning trade. Basically, think about it like this. You're on the battlefield. You have a telescope, or I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever. You're looking far into the distance. I'm all the way back here, right? At the main camp. I'm looking to see what the opposing army is doing up here. If I see up here that there's not too many soldiers coming at me, I'm good. Guys, keep charging. If I see there's a lot of soldiers coming, i.e. a lot of orders in the opposing direction, this would be on the sell side or the bid. Yep, pull back. Let's get out. Just take your win while you can. So, this little analogy, but hopefully that was pretty educational for you guys, because really, I know a lot of you guys struggle with that. How do we want to stay in trades? In terms of technical analysis, right now, what we're seeing is a red flag to continue this long trade. This is a big red flag. And then you wonder, you're like, well, why do I pass so many prop accounts, but I fail on my fundeds? Usually the answer comes down to your trading mentality. And usually most people become their trader A that passes accounts, no problem. But then all of a sudden they have their alter ego comes in. Trader B comes out of nowhere when it's a funded and just blows it every time. It's because you treat them way too differently. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit more conservative, because don't get me wrong. I'm going to be a realistic person. I'm not a guru trying to sell you on prop firms. I'm just trying to sit here and tell you that realistically, you want to be trading somewhat the same. Now, I get it. If I'm trading a funded account, there might be some trades I skip out on where others I would probably take, or I might downsize a little bit, but it shouldn't be drastic. It shouldn't be drastic. I shouldn't be going from 5 to 10 MNQ to 1 MNQ. In my opinion, if I'm trading 1 MNQ, I would only be doing that to test a strategy, because I've never done it before. So I want to test and see how it works. Or I'm legitimately brand new. Like, I don't know how to trade. I don't know really what buy market does or what sell market does. So obviously I want to do 1 MNQ just to see what it does. That's the only time I'd be doing that. Because obviously, I know you said you're happy you're green. Today, if I was you, I would be putting in my journal that I'd be very disappointed in the fact that I took the trade with so little size. A, what was the reason for going so light? B, if I'm trading on a funded, I should be looking to capitalize on strong volume, not hold back. So the second you saw that strong volume kick in, even if I had 1 MNQ, I would go, damn, I need to hold this. Unfortunately, I went in with just 1 MNQ, but I need to hold. The volume is telling me to hold. So in my opinion, besides being green, you did everything wrong on that trade. You did everything wrong, because I can tell you what's more than likely going to happen. The next time you take a loss, you're going to come back to this moment. You're going to go, oh, of course I took a 20-point stop loss with 10 MNQ. But when I get a 170-point trade, I took 1 MNQ and I sold for 20 points profit. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, because we're always going to have new people in here. But guys, you got to learn to take advantage of these big winning trades. If you are taking these trades for 20 to 30-point scalps, you need to put in your journal that you're failing at holding winning trades. You need to be very, very, not negative. You need to be very strict with yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Go in your journal and go write down and put, James was saying after our first trim, he's waiting because he expects this to be a big move. He's expecting this to continue moving. We see a lot of volume. Remove me from the situation entirely. Just look at the volume. You see a lot of volume at the level we plan to enter at in our favor. Why would you want to take a 20-point scalp? You know you're more than likely going to get at least 70 points out of this trade. At a minimum, you're probably going to get 70 points. So you need to look at it from that perspective. This is what separates traders that are profitable from not profitable. Because again, I can give you, in terms of call outs, right, and game plans, I can give you big trades left and right. But if out of these big trades, what you take away is 30 points profit, you're not going to get very far. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get very far. The only way you would get far is if you're an extremely systematic scalper. Scalpers do really, really well with trading. They're very good with trading, guys. Scalpers are wonderful at trading, but they're very disciplined and they're very systematic. And they usually do take multiple trades a day because they're a scalper. They usually do, right? And their minimum is usually a 2-to-1 R. Being a real scalper, their minimum is a 2-to-1 R. So when they take a trade, they are never exiting at a 1-to-1. They're always looking for a 2-to-1. That way, they're never telling themselves, oh my gosh, my losses are bigger than my winners. Okay. No, obviously, a successful trader would never say that. Their losses are bigger than winners, but obviously, in the beginning, your losses will be bigger than your winners because you don't have the confidence to hold winning trades, but you have the hope to hold on to losing trades. And when you're in those winning trades, you tell yourself all the reasons it's not going to work, so you sell early. But when you're in a losing trade, you tell yourself all the reasons it's going to win to hold on longer, right? So, but I need you to remember this is very similar to November, the beginning of November. We had 22 days in a row of over 100 points on NQ in terms of callouts and Valor. 22 or 23, don't quote me on it, but a good amount, a ridiculous amount. But nobody really was, none of the newer people were seeing big results because every day they were just like 20 points, I'm done, peace out. 20 points, I'm done, peace out. Every single day it was the same. There was no journaling. There was no real afterthought. It was just following a call out, getting a win because it would rip 50 plus points, and so they would get their 20 points and then go on their day. And I'm telling you, it's not going to benefit you in the long run because in the long run, you want to be able to sit in a trade like this. That way, let's just paint a picture. Let's say the entire week is awful. Let's say Monday, I take a loss. Tuesday, I take a loss. I've taken 2 losses. This day, Wednesday, I can recover those 2 losses. I can recover those 2 losses plus some. Okay, now I'm in the green. Okay, Thursday, I can get another big trade. Cool. Now I'm heavy in the green. Friday, I can take a loss. I'm still solid on the week. Even though 3 days were red and 2 days were green, a normal, not normal, a good trader would be green on a week like that because the 2 days they were green should heavily outweigh the days they were red. But you have to ask yourself, if you're not in that position, that's fine. You say, okay, how do I get to that position? What do I need to do to get to that position? I need to hold my winners longer. I can do that. Or let's say you just take big stop losses because you don't respect your stop. Okay, how can I better respect my stop loss? What rule can I implement so I can actually say, hey, at 20 points, I'm stopping out. I'm stopping out. I'm gonna take that loss, right? So, and again, remember that lesson for those of you that, take 15 points profit and move your stop loss to entry. I get it. That does it. It will save you many times. That definitely will save you, but you want to use the underlying volume and the certain key level break you're doing to determine if that's worth it or not. All right. Trades of prop firm accounts. I would never trust a trader that trades a prop firm. Never, 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 never. If they're trying to teach you, but they are trading on a prop firm, they're basically saying, pay me money to teach you, but I'm not willing to risk my own money to trade. Hard no. Hard no. That is massive scammer alert. You stay away from people like that. Trust me. If they're not willing to risk their own money, then why would you trust them with any piece of education or knowledge? Just be very careful of that. James. Yes, we usually will look for more than one trade. I will look for as many trades as I can find that are A plus. That's the key word there. Um, that's the only real thing I had today that for like a reentry was again the hold of this key level. I'm not sure if you were here. That was really it. Because I said the only thing I can see playing out is a 5-minute candle close. We got a strong 5-minute candle close above my key level. And I said, realistically, we should see a move to the upside. And that's when I said, worst case, we see a pullback into these order blocks. We obviously never got the pullback. So that's why I never mentioned anything else because that was all we got. You got that 5-minute candle close. You got a nice 40, what was that 50-point move? Yeah, 50, no, 40-point move. 40-point move, pulled back to the entry. If you held, good job, because obviously you're still in it, but QQ. But when it comes to things like this, because it could just realistically go up all day, and I have such a tiny position left, yeah, normally I do. At this point in time, it is very reasonable to just say, like, hey, look, basically, you could have a trailing stop at 25,839 on NQ, right below that 4-hour level. Or you can have that trailing stop at 624.50 on QQQ and let it keep rocking. But I only got 10%. Yeah, I only got 10% of my position left. I don't care if it goes back to entry. I'm trying to hold for these bigger trades to see if it just keeps going, you know? Because I've had time, there's trades that I've been in that I've called out to the group that we got like 120%. It came back to entry. And then it went for like 300% later in the day. So I'd rather just risk the 10%. I don't care. Remember, if it sounds too easy, it's probably not going to work because 98% of traders fail. Why do 98% of traders fail? Well, that number is obviously exasperated by people who show up for quick money and quit right away. But it's also very true because it's hard and there's no way a 15-minute orb, there's no way Fibonacci retracement, there's no way a simple 5-minute candle close above a key level means I can just enter for calls and it will keep moving. There's no way those things will work all the time. Keyword, all the time. They do work in some scenarios, but there's no way those things work all the time. What do all of those rely on, though, in order to keep working? What does a 15-minute orb need to keep working? Has a 15-minute range, closes, moves well. There was volume there. Cool. That's what needed to work. A Fibonacci retracement. I break out of a key level. I've drawn my 3,487 lines to the upside. I'm expecting it to bounce off of one of these tiny lines. Whichever line it ends up bouncing off of, the percentage area, and it ends up working, what happened to that area? Why did it bounce there? Volume. Everything will relate back to volume. And that's where I come back to at the end of the day. What is the holy grail of why anything on this chart moves? Volume. So now I know all the noise and all the marketing BS and all the $5,000 boot camps online. Let me just look through all of them, peer past them, and at the end of it all is volume. I need to learn how to read volume. But then I get in front of that massive wall that is volume, and that is there's no shortcut to reading volume. This is extremely hard to read, and it's going to take time, practical application, seeing it work and not work day in and day out. What works for volume, what doesn't work for volume. And the hardest part about volume is you have to screen record it to back test it. You can't go back test on a 5-minute time frame and be like, oh, well, I like trading this said name strategy, so I have to back test and see if this works in the long run. Backtesting can work in terms of finding good levels. It can work to find your levels. But in terms of reading volume, it's got to be real time. So you want to record it. Again, guys, you can use OBS. You can just set up your darn phone on a tripod and just record, right? Like you can have one cell that's just volume and just record that with your phone. Just get what you can from it and delete the video after. But volume, trust me, volume. That's what if someone took volume away from me, I realistically wouldn't be able to trade. If somehow I couldn't read volume, I would be severely hindered when it came to trading because I would be solely relying on price action and levels. And that's what most people do. Most people just look at a level on a chart. They look at a candle like this. They'll see this on NVIDIA and they'll go, well, that's a strong level. I'm going to try calls. It should hold here. And they're just banking on that. They have no clue what's happening inside of that candle. They have no clue. They just go strictly off of basically a picture. All right. All right. Went 20 minutes over for you guys. You're welcome. 20 minutes over. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. All right. I'm going to do my best. I don't want to say I'm going to do things that I can't. So I'm going to do my best to try to upload Friday's trade review, today's trade review, and what do you call it? That order book video. I might make the order book video today and post it tomorrow. Just FYI, okay? Because I want to make a good quality video. I don't want to rush stuff. All right. All right, guys. Wonderful trading day today. Executed well. I'm still holding this trade. Okay, still holding it. It's just taking forever to get any movement whatsoever. Obviously, volume has died down pretty hard. I'm really just waiting for this 4-hour level up here. Okay. And then after that, I'm literally going to trim by 100-point increments. So when we hit that level, I will legitimately just wait for 300 points profit up here, 26,060. All right. You do want to watch 26,000. I texted it to you guys last week, 26,000 possible reject area on NQ. And that is basically exactly where NQ decided to reject at. So in terms of this region, you just got to be cautious. You got to be careful. Okay. Watch out for that 26,000 level if we get up there today. If we keep running all day, then this is honest. I mean, I can't because I have 0 DT contracts, but if you for some reason have contracts you can swing, could be valid for a swing, right? That's something I would do. If I had the ability to do that, I would try to swing them. Obviously, my contracts will expire though today, so I cannot do that. All right. All right, guys. 1% better every single day. You guys crushed it today. Don't overtrade. Be disciplined. Go out, get some exercise in. Make sure you journal what you did right today, what you did wrong, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate every single one of you.